Why the most painful memories still hurt. You tell yourself it's over. You tell yourself you've moved on. You tell yourself it doesn't matter anymore. But then one moment comes, one memory, one word, one face. And suddenly, the pain is back just as strong as before. This is not weakness. This is not failure. This is an unfinished wound asking to be healed. Painful memories don't hurt because they exist. Here is the first truth you must understand. Memories don't hurt because they happened. They hurt because they were never fully felt. When something deeply painful happened in your past, betrayal, abandonment, rejection, humiliation, loss, your system went into survival mode. You didn't have the safety, awareness, or support to process it fully. So you did what most humans do. You suppressed it, you distracted yourself, you told yourself to be strong, you moved on too fast, but emotions don't disappear just because time passes. They get stored in the body. That's why the memory still hurts years later, not because it's alive, but because it was never released. Pain that is not felt becomes pain that is carried. The body remembers what the mind tries to forget. You may think healing is mental. But the truth is, trauma lives in the body first. Your body remembers. The fear you didn't express, the anger you swallowed, the sadness you weren't allowed to feel. That's why a smell, a sound, a tone of voice can suddenly bring tears, anxiety, or anger. The body reacts before the mind understands. This is not random. This is stored emotion. Your body is saying, this was never finished. Healing does not begin by thinking differently. It begins by feeling safely. Why avoiding the past makes it stronger. Most people believe the solution is to forget. Don't think about it. Move on. Stay positive. But avoidance does not heal, it postpones. Every time you avoid a memory, you teach your nervous system that it is dangerous. You reinforce fear. You give the memory more power. This is why the pain returns stronger when triggered. Avoidance is not protection. It is delayed suffering. Healing begins the moment you stop running. The inner child still holding the pain inside you is a younger version of yourself who experienced that pain for the first time. That version didn't understand why it happened, why they weren't protected, why they felt alone, and no one came to help them process it. So that inner part froze in time. Every painful memory is connected to this inner self, the one who felt powerless, confused, or unworthy. Healing the past means returning to that part with awareness and compassion, not to relive the pain, but to finish what was left incomplete. The real reason memories control you here is something deeply important. Painful memories control you only when you believe you are still that powerless person, but you are not. You are older now, stronger now, more aware now, yet the nervous system hasn't updated. Healing is the process of updating the system. It is teaching your body and mind, that was then, this is now, I am safe. Until this happens, the memory keeps repeating itself through emotions, reactions, and patterns. You don't need to relive trauma to heal it. This is critical. Healing is not reliving. Healing is witnessing with safety. You do not drown in the memory. You sit with it as an observer. You don't ask, why did this destroy me? You ask, what did this version of me need? This shift changes everything. When awareness replaces helplessness, the nervous system begins to relax. That's the beginning of healing. Pain wants recognition, not erasure. Painful memories don't want to hurt you. They want to be seen. They want you to acknowledge, yes, this was painful. Yes, this mattered. Yes, I was affected. When pain is validated, it softens. When pain is ignored, it screams louder. Most people try to silence pain. Healing happens when you listen without judgment. Why time alone does not heal? People say, time heals everything. That's not true. Time passes, but unprocessed pain stays frozen. Years can pass, yet the wound remains fresh because it was never integrated. Healing is not about waiting. Healing is about presence. The moment you turn toward the pain consciously, time becomes irrelevant. Awareness is the first medicine. Awareness means not pushing the memory away, not judging yourself for having it, not labeling yourself as broken. You simply notice. I notice sadness. I notice tightness. I notice fear. This observation alone begins to loosen the grip. Why? Because pain cannot survive unconsciousness forever. Awareness brings light, and light dissolves what was hidden. So now you understand this truth. Your past hurts not because it exists, but because it was never fully met. Healing does not begin with forgetting. Healing begins with turning toward. In the next part, you will learn the one thing that actually heals painful memories, not theory, not motivation, but a deep inner process that releases pain at its root. Because once you do that one thing correctly, the past finally loosens its hold. The one thing that actually heals the past. Most people spend their entire lives trying to forget the past. They distract themselves, they stay busy, they numb the pain, but healing does not come from forgetting. It comes from facing the memory in a new way, not with fear, not with blame, but with awareness, compassion, and safety. This is the one thing that changes everything. Healing happens when you change the relationship. The most important truth you must understand is this: you do not heal the past by erasing it. You heal the past by changing how you relate to it. The memory itself is neutral. It becomes painful only when it is met with fear, resistance, or self-judgment. Every time the memory arises and you push it away, you reinforce the wound. But when you meet it differently with presence instead of panic, the nervous system begins to soften. Healing is not about controlling the mind. It is about creating safety in the body. Creating safety before revisiting the memory. Before healing can happen, one thing is essential: safety. Your system will not release pain unless it feels safe enough to do so. Safety is created by slow breathing, grounding in the present moment, reminding yourself that you are here now and not in danger. Say silently, "I am safe right now." This is a memory, not the present. This tells your nervous system to relax. Without safety, revisiting the past becomes re-traumatization. With safety, it becomes release. Revisiting the memory with awareness, not judgment, now comes the core of healing. You allow the memory to come, not to relive it, but to observe it. You don't jump inside it. You watch it like a scene on a screen. Notice what emotions arise where you feel them in the body, what sensations appear. Do not analyze, do not blame, do not try to fix. Just observe. This observation creates separation. You are no longer the wounded child. You are the aware adult witnessing the experience. This is the moment the past begins to lose its power. Feeling the emotion fully without drowning. Healing requires one brave act: feeling. Not thinking, not explaining, feeling. If sadness arises, allow tears. If anger arises, feel the heat, the tension. If fear arises, feel the tightness. Do not suppress. Do not dramatize. Let the emotion move through the body like a wave. Emotions are energy. Energy wants to move. When emotions are allowed, they complete their cycle. This is why after a deep cry, people feel lighter, something finished. Compassion toward your past self. Here is where deep healing happens. You turn toward the version of you who experienced the pain that younger self felt. Confused, alone, powerless, unworthy. Instead of judging them, you offer compassion. You say, "You did the best you could. You are not weak. You didn't deserve this. I'm here now." This rewires the nervous system. The pain was never just about what happened, it was about being alone in it. Compassion ends that loneliness, releasing self, blame, and shame. Most painful memories carry hidden shame. You blame yourself for not speaking up, not leaving sooner, not being stronger, but shame is not truth. It is a survival response. When you release self, blame, the memory loses its emotional charge. Say clearly, "I did not cause this. I was surviving. I am allowed to heal." This is not excuse making. This is truth telling. The nervous system finally updates. Here is what actually changes during healing. Your nervous system realizes the danger is over, the pain has been witnessed, support is present. Now this is why memories stop triggering you. They are no longer unfinished. The body no longer needs to replay them to get your attention. Why this works when everything else fails. Affirmations fail because they bypass emotion. Distraction fails because it avoids. Overthinking fails because it stays in the mind. This works because it speaks the body's language. Presence, safety, feeling, compassion, that is the formula. You are not reopening wounds, you are closing them. This fear is common. If I go back, I'll make it worse. But the opposite is true. You are not reopening wounds, you are allowing them to finally close. What remains open hurts, what is completed heals. The shift you will notice after doing this work, you'll notice. Memories arise with less intensity, triggers lose their power, emotional reactions soften, you feel more grounded. The memory is still there, but it no longer controls you. That is real healing. Now you understand the one thing that heals the past, meeting painful memories with awareness, safety, feeling, and compassion. This is not quick, but it is permanent. In the final part, you'll learn how to integrate healed memories and move forward without being pulled back into old pain. Because healing is not just release, it is transformation. Integrating the healed memory and living free healing does not mean the memory disappears. Healing means the memory no longer controls you. You remember, but you don't relive. You recall, but you don't collapse. You acknowledge, but you don't suffer. This is the final stage, integration. This is where freedom begins. Healing is not erasing, it is integrating. Many people believe healing means forgetting the past, but forgetting is not healing. Forgetting is suppression. True healing means the memory becomes calm, neutral, informative, not emotional. The memory moves from being a wound to becoming wisdom. Integration means the past no longer hijacks the present. Your reactions are no longer automatic. Your nervous system stays grounded. The experience becomes part of your story, not the center of your identity. How you know a memory is truly healed. Here are the real signs of healing. You can think about the memory without a strong emotional surge. You no longer feel the need to explain or defend yourself. Triggers lose intensity. Your body stays calm. You feel compassion instead of shame. The memory may still feel sad, but it no longer feels dangerous. This is how you know the healing is real. Rewriting identity after pain. One of the most important steps in integration is releasing the identity formed by pain. Pain often creates labels. I am broken. I am unlucky. I am not enough. This always happens to me. These identities were formed in survival. They helped you cope. But now, they must be released. You are no longer the wounded version of yourself. You are the aware, healed, present version. Integration requires choosing a new identity. I am resilient. I am safe now. I learned and grew. My past does not define me. This is not pretending. This is updating your inner system. Breaking old emotional patterns. Even after healing, the mind may try to return to old patterns. This is normal. Patterns don't disappear overnight. They dissolve through awareness and repetition. When an old reaction appears, pause, breathe, observe, choose differently each time you respond instead of react. You weaken the old pattern. Integration is not perfection. It is conscious practice. Setting boundaries after healing. A healed person lives differently. They no longer over-explain, overgive, tolerate disrespect, abandon themselves. Healing teaches discernment. You recognize what feels safe and what doesn't. You trust your body's signals. You choose peace over chaos. Boundaries are not walls. They are self-respect in action. This is how healing shows up in real life. Living in the present without fear. Once memories are integrated, something powerful happens. You return to the present. The mind stops dragging you back. The body stops bracing for danger. You feel more. Calm, grounded, emotionally available. Connected presence becomes your natural state. And in presence, suffering has no home. When the past tries to return, sometimes old memories resurface. This does not mean you failed. It means another layer is ready to heal. You don't panic. You don't judge. You meet it with the same tools. Awareness, safety, compassion. Feeling each time. The memory softens faster. Healing deepens in layers, turning pain into wisdom. At this stage, something profound happens. You begin to see why the experience shaped you, what it taught you about boundaries, how it strengthened your awareness, why you can now help others. Pain becomes meaning. Not because it was good, but because you transformed it. This is emotional alchemy. You become emotionally sovereign. An integrated person is emotionally sovereign. They no longer give others the power to. To find their worth control, their emotions reopen old wounds. They respond from clarity, not triggers. They feel emotions fully, but they don't drown in them. This is emotional maturity. This is freedom. Living forward, not backward. Your energy changes when the past releases you. You stop looking backward for answers. You stop repeating old cycles. You move forward with intention. You choose healthier relationships, peaceful environments, conscious responses, self-respect. Life no longer feels like survival. It feels like living. Healing is a relationship, not a destination. Healing is not something you finish. It is something you live. You stay connected to yourself. You listen to your emotions. You respond with compassion. When pain arises, you don't fear it. You understand it. That's mastery. The freedom you were always seeking, the freedom you wanted, was never forgetting, escaping, becoming someone else. It was this: being able to remember without suffering, feeling without fear, living without being controlled by the past. That freedom is now available to you. One day, you'll notice something quietly beautiful. A memory appears and your body stays calm, your heart stays open, your breath stays steady, and in that moment you'll realize the past no longer owns you. You didn't erase it, you didn't run from it, you healed it, and now you are free to live not as someone shaped by pain, but as someone transformed by awareness, compassion, and strength. This is how you heal the most painful memories of your past. And this is how you finally move forward.